It is my pleasure at this time to welcome our guest this week. He is the former head coach of the Missouri Tigers, Mr. Gary Pinkel. Coach, welcome to the show. How's everything going?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Well, we're doing just great, Coach, and thanks again. It's just a huge pleasure to have you on today with us. And, of course, the book has just come out. It's The 100-Yard Journey, A Life in Coaching and Battling for the Win. I know you've been out there doing some book signings, meeting some people. What's it been like out there going around and talking to people about this book and your great career at Mizzou?
Yeah, it's been fun. It really has. I've been doing a lot of radio shows, TV, been in St. Louis, and really all over the place, and it's international. The radio shows also. So it's been fun. I've enjoyed it, and it's kind of just nice getting your story out there.
Well, once again, the name of the book is The 100-Yard Journey, A Life in Coaching and Battling for the Win. It is available on GaryPinkel.com, Amazon.com. And I tell you what, Coach, you talk about, on the field battling for the win. You had to, go through a much different battle in the last few years, of course, dealing with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Everything I've heard, lately points to all things being good. What's it been like for you, and how are things looking into the future?
Well, I just, first of all, I knew Mike Alden. I knew some people that knew him. And so when I was at Washington, he was, was a young associate AD at Arizona State. So he kind of knew of me, and he followed me a little bit. And he had a respect for Don James. So I think that's kind of a connection that took place. I just told him I was going to need you if I take this job. It's because it's going to be difficult. I had 2 winning seasons in 17 years. Everybody told me not to. Everybody. My kids told me not to. Everybody did. And I just kind of felt it was the right time for me, and I just had a good feeling. And there's so many good things about Missouri. The only thing that isn't good is that the football programs have, overall struggled for many, many years. And, Larry came in and had 2 good years, but, it is very difficult. So I just, I believe so much in our football program. I believed and that's what I used to tell when we got here in St. Louis. I'd go into homes, and they're thinking, here comes another football coach. We've seen these Missouri guys 4 years later, they're gone all the time. But I go in and say, this thing worked at Kent State University, this thing worked at Washington, won a national championship at Washington. This thing worked at Toledo, won championships there. And this is going to work here. And that, for some reason, that sales pitch, which was very honest, it told them that I'm not just pulling this out. I'm not just going to say, hey, we're going to do this. We're going to kind of create this atmosphere. We know what we're doing coming in here. Is it going to be easy? No, it's not going to be easy. But that was kind of what we did. And obviously, I almost my whole staff, Andy Hill, stayed over with me. And that was critically important. So for 4 or 5 straight years, I did not lose one coach. And when it was criticized that I had all these MAC coaches when we were struggling, when we started winning, people were saying, how brilliant it was that we had these coaches here, and they did a remarkable job. And the consistency of having these coaches with you really gave a sense of security when you went to Missouri, because, if coaches start bouncing all over the place, then it doesn't look very good.
Well, Coach, of course, you spent 10 years at Toledo before coming to Missouri, where you're the all-time winningest coach there at that program. But when you took the Missouri job, obviously you're a very cerebral person. You thought about this from every possible angle, and you wound up deciding to take this job despite the fact that it was not looked at as a good job at the time. Missouri, of course, were coming off some pretty bad seasons. What was it that made you decide to inevitably make the leap of faith and come to Mizzou? Just kind of take us through that process.
Well, people told me you couldn't win there, and our first 4 years were very difficult. I didn't question myself, but I kind of secretly did sometimes in anger. Like, what the heck did I do this for? And it was so difficult, and winning, losing, winning. And then again, that's why I needed Mike Lute. And then, like you said, in the next 11 years, we went to 9 bowls, had 6 bowl championships, 5 divisional titles, and 4 championship games. 2 of those championship games, we beat Auburn, we beat Oklahoma in the national championship game. So and it isn't about Gary Pinkel. It's about all the administration, about everybody being on board. It's about the fans. We're really becoming great Missouri fans, because I remember where they were clapping because we played Texas well once, and I went and ripped our pants afterwards, saying, we're not in here to look good. We're here to win games. So we all had to learn. And so don't ever tell me you can't win championships and you can't compete on the national stage at the University of Missouri. You can do it, and we did it.
Well, of course, you go on to win 118 games and 14 seasons at Mizzou, and 10 bowl games, 10-win seasons, just countless memories, countless big moments. Beating Oklahoma as they were the #1 team in the nation, beating Nebraska for the first time, of course, beating Kansas at Arrowhead. So many big time things you were able to accomplish at the University of Missouri. And I know you don't get into coaching to appease a fan base. That's not why you do it. I know for you, of course, you're someone that loves being around players and shaping those young men and all the work that you do to build them up. But at Missouri, you were able to provide so many joyous occasions for so many people that I've talked to that have said certain wins were some of the best days of their life, beating Kansas at Arrowhead and getting to #1 in the nation and things like that. What do you take from, knowing that you provided so many, so much happiness and so many wonderful occasions for so many Missouri fans?
Well, it was people told me you couldn't win there, and our first 4 years were very difficult. I didn't question myself, but I kind of secretly did sometimes in anger. Like, what the heck did I do this for? And it was so difficult, and winning, losing, winning, and then again, that's why I needed Mike Lute. And then, like you said, in the next 11 years, we went to 9 bowls, had 6 bowl championships, 5 divisional titles. In 4 championship games. 2 of those championship games, we beat Auburn, we beat Oklahoma in the national championship game. So and it isn't by Gary Pinkel. It's about all the administration, about everybody being on board. It's about the fans. We're really becoming great Missouri fans, because I remember where they were clapping because we played Texas well once, and I went and ripped our pants afterwards, saying, we're not in here to look good. We're here to win games. So we all had to learn, and so don't ever tell me you can't win championships and you can't compete on the national stage at the University of Missouri. You can do it, and we did it.
Well, Coach, your program wound up facing a whole new batch of challenges when in 2012 you decided to make that move to the SEC, and it was a huge decision for the university to break off from the Big 12. Just kind of take us through that, what the line of thinking was at the time. Obviously, to go to a conference like that, you have to be prepared to win and win big, and to do everything it takes to keep up with every other good program in the conference.
Well, for several months in advance, almost a year in advance, there was so much talking about the Big 12, and Nebraska left, Colorado left. We were hearing Oklahoma State might go somewhere, and they were just, we're sitting there. I'm scared to death. I'm thinking, shoot, we might be sitting here with nothing. And then all of a sudden, behind the scenes, what was going on a little bit, there's discussion about going to the Big 10 with Kansas. I think that was some of the conversation. But then all of a sudden, the SEC thing came in here. I remember, the chancellor, and I remember, Mike Alden and a curator or two that I talked to, and they asked me about the move. And the only thing I told them was, I said, we're going into a league that is, year in, year out, is the best league in college football, and it's physical, and it's a team where even the bad teams are good, and so it's going to be remarkably competitive. So long as you understand that, and then you give me at the time the resources to compete. Okay, that's what we need. And the resources meaning, for example, the South End Zone project was kind of my dream, Mike Aldridge. We were the first one to get that going. Then he left, and we had 3 ADs later. Now Jim Sturk's doing a great job in getting that thing going. That's hugely important for this football program if you want to be on the stage. And I don't think we wanted to get in the SEC and kind of just backdoor it in and just try to be decent. I didn't want to. If you want to do that, I said I want no part of it. First year we had some injuries, we struggled. We had to win one more game, we'd go to a bowl, and you never know when greatness is around the corner. I talk about that in my book, and there was an example there of a really difficult year in 2012. And then, the next 2 years, I think we were in 23 games. So, it was a great league. It's a great league. But, what we're doing now with that South End Zone project is awesome, and I'm very appreciative. I hear so many good things about our new chancellor, so many good things about our new president of the systems, and then Jim Sturk. They're all doing an outstanding job, all working together, and I think great things can happen.
And of course, you went on to win SEC Coach of the Year in 2014. And you talk about being in the SEC and playing in those environments and those big games. Is there something tangible about being in the SEC? The slogan is "it just means more." Was there anything tangible about being in that conference that was maybe a little different and maybe seemed, like it was on a bigger scale to you?
Yeah, there's just so many good teams. There's just not. Anybody can be good. It's it's hard to win. We're seeing that right now with Florida struggling and some other teams struggling. It's so competitive that it's hard to win. But some people say, well, the league is a line of scrimmage league. Well, it is a line of scrimmage league. But if you ever want to be good in whether the Big 12 or the Pac-10 or the Big 10, the SEC or the any other conference, it's your best teams. My best team, sure we had good quarterback, good defensive, but we had good linemen. And that's true in any football. If you play well up front and you got some good surrounding people, you're going to compete. And that's the one thing in that league that you have to have. You got to understand that you're going to be playing against really great teams. And Saban, who wrote the foreword to my book, and some people are kidding, but so the foreword might be better than the book. He really did a really awesome job. But look what Nick Saban's done in that league. He's kind of pulled away from everybody else. He's winning like nobody's ever won before. So I think it's good. It's been good for other sports too. And we just need the commitment in football to be great. And if we get the commitment in football, great. Our fans will jump back on board. We get things going, and hopefully, great things are going to happen.
Well, after your retirement in 2015, of course, Barry Odom took over as head coach, and things kind of off to a rocky start. Missouri riding a little wave of momentum here with a 3-game win streak. Just talk about Coach Odom. I know you know him really well, and what his skill set is, and why you think he is a guy that can get Missouri to that next level again.
Well, it's a hard job. It's very difficult. Learning how to handle the stress is probably one of the most difficult things you have to learn how to do. You have to be very disciplined to do it. You learn through experience and making mistakes and everything else. But Barry made a lot of changes with staff. He turned a lot of people over, so the transitions a little bit different. That was a good decision he made, and for all the right reasons he made that. We're in a very good situation now. I mean, I don't think you couldn't set the schedule ever better than what it's set right now for opportunity. We're playing a team that lost a coach. There's 2 other teams the next 4. So one's already lost their coach. 2 other spots, and I like these guys. I love these coaches. Very possibly could lose their job. That's just the business. And we have Vanderbilt in there. And none of it's going to be easy, but there's great opportunities for all those teams. You want to go to a bowl, Mizzou? We just went 2 in a row here. We think go rolling here. We got to crank it out in these next 4 games. The focus level is not going to be like it normally is when you play a team with having all those outside stresses going on. So the team is really in this next 4 weeks really focus the best and bring their best game. You get on a roll now, and that could happen to us, and heck, we could be going to a bowl. So hopefully, you can't set a better schedule after this. Now we just got to take advantage of it.
Well, I tell you, Coach, looking back over the years in your career here at Missouri, I think it's just important to go, understand the fact that you helped change the perception of this program and rose it to levels that it had never before been to. And for me, so many wonderful moments and things that I will never forget, and victories and wonderful times just spent at the university and being proud to be a fan of the University of Missouri. I think that we just, as fans and as people that around this state, really just can't thank you enough for everything you've done here and raising the level and hopefully raising the bar for what this school and what the football program can be here in the future at Missouri.
Well, thank you very much, and I'm very appreciative. Our fans are, so nice. They're so nice, and they're complimentary to me. And anytime they're complimentary about me, I was fortunate to be coach of the year in the SEC, the Big 12, the our conference, and that's a stamp on our football program. That isn't by Gary Pinkel. That's our football program. And I love Mizzou, and I want them to do well. And I'll do anything to help this university. And we'll get back on the winning track here.
Well, Coach, now that you're a couple years removed from the game of football, of course you retired following the 2015 season. You're a couple years removed. You've had time off. You've written this book. You're found your health again and gotten married and a lot of things. Your kids are getting older. What does the game of football mean to you now that you're a couple years removed from coaching?
Well, I don't believe I did that pace of life for 25 years as a head coach. I averages about 6.2 years in business as a head coach. Leagues we're at. I can't believe I did that for 25 years and coached in the hours I put in for almost 40 years. because I love what I did. But I mean, I look back and the hours you put in are staggering. Until you back away, you just do what you do. As a football coach, that's what you do, and you love what you do when you back away. So backing away from it, it kind of I feel real good about my decision, doing it, and I wanted to de-stress my life. I wanted to, certainly, stay as healthy as possible. I also wanted, to use my time right, because at the end of the day, I have no idea the future what it's going to be. And so I feel, really good about doing that. I miss my players. You mentioned that. I miss my players, loving them, hugging them, kicking their rear end on a heat kick, seeing them grow and mature, and, learn life lessons in our football program. I get so many texts and emails from players that, say, Coach, the things we learned from you, I'm applying to my family, or I'm applying to my business, or what have you. And I can handle adversity better than all the people I work with, because I've been through it. And there's a ways you deal with it. So all these things like that, it's just really complimentary. So I miss my players huge, but I also miss game day. I miss putting my headset on, because I went into a zone. For 4 hours. I was gone. I was completely gone. I used to tell my players, if I'm on the sideline, I'm always in control. I'm not doing jumping jacks, run up and down the sideline. I have nothing against people that do that, but I don't do that. I always told them that, first of all, I'm not listening to Earth, Wind, and Fire, sideline with that headset on. I'm coaching football, and we have a plan, and I felt so confident in our plan. We made very few mistakes game day, because, things I learned from Coach James on game day and the infrastructure that we have within our organization. And but I love those 4 hours. I love, just managing the game, and making the decisions and things like that. But I don't know what would have gone beyond. We had no intention. I had 5 years left of my contract. There's no way in the world I was even thinking about it. But I felt like I did the right thing. And I'm also, speaking at the university. I'll be in Denver in a couple of weeks with all my people there, and get a chance to see them. And I spoke in Kansas City on leadership in Arkansas coming up. I've done one leadership coming up next week. So I'm getting out and doing some of those things. But most importantly, I get to do what I want to do, and that's nice to be able to do that.
So you're saying that driving hundreds of miles with Nick Saban, logging game tape, what was it? You don't miss that. It's a great story.
Yeah, the hours are staggering. It's really, it's kind of funny on the book, because in the bottom of the book, in the cover, there's a really nice cover. It's got a picture of me on the front, but it's got Pinkel like 2 inches on the top, Gary Pinkel, the name, and Nick Saban says "Forward" by Nick Saban on the very bottom. And my kids told me, Dad, we have an idea. And I said, what's the idea? Because they humble me all the time. They said, Dad, if I were you from a sales standpoint, I would put Nick Saban's name 2 inches up top there, and I'd put your name down right at the bottom.
Oh, that's funny. Well,
you got to love your kids, man. It's unbelievable. So
I tell you, a lot of Missouri fans are going to want to pick up this book. It's perfect for the holiday season, and I know you've got a book signing coming up November 15th at the Mizzou store, and some more coming up. This is just a great book for the Mizzou fans, for football fans, and it's just perfect for the holidays. And I know you're going to be out doing some more signings, and I know those are always enjoyable.
Well, thank you. And we got some book signings going to come in Kansas City, and we have some coming in St. Louis. So we're going to have that through the holidays. It's be a pretty good gift if there are Mizzou fans out there. Maybe a good gift to kind of relive everything that happened. Relive, like you mentioned, there's a lot of great games to talk about in there. So it's kind of a pretty cool deal.
Coach, it has been a true pleasure. Best of luck to you, and we'll have to catch up soon, man. When you do that book signing here in Kansas City, definitely going to have to come by and say hi in person and shake your hand again. It's been a pleasure.